What's up, hobby friends, and welcome back to Paint Bravely, the podcast where you can find a little bit of encouragement, discover new ways to make your hobby more fun, and most importantly, learn to paint bravely, or stick things to other things bravely, or whatever you're going to do for painting. It's good. Lots of things. We're going to get into it. Hobby stuff. But of course, first, we're going to talk to Brent. He's got some burning information that we just got to get out there. So we're going to start over there. What do you got?
Starting off strong today, we have a hot tip of the day today, and as Casey alluded to, it involves sticking things to things. We are talking about putties to use to stick your models to your painting handle.
Yeah, this ain't no magnet sandwich.
No. We are not all blessed with magnets, and sometimes we forget to stick magnets to things, and then what are you going to do? Putty. That's the answer. So, I'm going to start this conversation with the baseline putty, blue tack, blue stuff. This is Loctite Fun Tack. It's great for classrooms, paper, wood, tile, linoleum, cinder block, brick, metal, plastic, and figurines. Now.
And figurines.
It didn't
Does
say
it say
that.
that on there?
No, it didn't.
Yeah,
It's mounting putty. It's Loctite blue mounting putty. It's removable. It's non-toxic. And this is a great baseline. It works. This is what I've been using most of the time when I'm not using magnets. Bottom of the mini's base, top of your painting handle, stick them together. Mm-hmm. Keeps the mini on there and reasonably easy to take off and clean up when you're done.
Reasonably, yeah.
Reasonably. I assumed all mounting putties were the same. I was wrong. I've been doing a lot of learning this year, a lot of journeying, traveling, maturing, growing. Next on the list I want to show you, this is Gorilla. Incredibly strong. The Gorilla Glue company.
I would think it would be decent. Gorilla's usually all right.
That's what I thought. One day the store was out of Loctite Fun Tack. I got myself some Gorilla mounting putty for home and office, removable. This is the worst putty I've ever used. It is definitely removable. It doesn't stick to anything. Like, it's just...
They wanted to make sure it would come off.
Yeah, this is flavorless gum that you shouldn't put in your mouth. Like, this is terrible. You
ever tried that? Like poster tack? I remember doing that when I was a kid. It's not gum. It's really not.
Gordon tries to eat it. You gotta be very careful. I gotta put that stuff under lock and key. We're putting this right back away after this episode. I gotta remember.
Yeah.
Just see the cat chewing gum over there. Hey, what do you got?
Yeah.
What do you got? Is that poster putty? Give it to me. I need that.
Putty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what I'm saying is, do not buy. This is a don't buy.
Don't buy it.
Don't buy Gorilla mounting putty. No good. But on my travels to Canada, Dana Howell actually introduced me to the winner, the best one yet. This is Faber-Castell since 1761 Tacket.
Well, there you go.
This is Faber-Castell Tacket. And it's even better than Blue Tack or Fun Tack from Loctite. Faber-Castell Tacket.
So what makes it superior? Is it like stickier but doesn't leave residue? I mean, I know blue tack
it sticks really, really well when you want it to, and then it comes off when you don't want it to.
I mean, that sounds nice.
It's magic, yeah.
Yeah, because I use the Redgrass Games orange tack that they send with their painting handles, right? And it's a cool system. Like the handle, it's like a removable top, goes on a little swivel, you know, and then you just stick the orange putty on there. But like, I just spent, I don't know, a good half hour, 45 minutes today, painting up, or not painting up, but cleaning up orange tack from the bottom of the feet. Oh, I'm dropping them. Don't worry about it. I'm done putting it down. I put a bunch of goblins on these, right? And I interchanged them to paint on the handle because I was like, let me just batch paint these out, right? And when I took them off, the putty transferred, and I can't get it off the bottom of the feet. So I ended up having to like go
Whoops.
back and repaint the bottom of the feet on all of them, and there were like 8 of them. And now there's just putty underneath this paint. Now, luckily, I'm gluing the feet down to other things, so it's like, okay, it's not the hugest deal in the world, but like, man, like this orange putty shouldn't be doing that. And I mean, I've had it for, I guess, a couple years at this point, and it still works. It's still sticky, and I've painted on it a lot with like the airbrush and stuff. But I even went and tried some new orange putty, and that did the same thing. So it's not anything to do with, at least, being out in the open. I opened a new pack, but that's been pissing me off. So I might have to try this.
Got a solution.
Yeah.
Faber-Castell Tackett. Or if you're just at the store, like I had to order this off of Amazon. I think it was $7 for this, which is definitely...
That's not bad at all.
I was going to say it's steep. I was going to say it's steep.
Yeah.
You were just talking about a Redgrass Games product, so...
Exactly. Yeah. No, actually, I mean, they sent me the handle for free and the putty, so I'm not complaining about it, but it's definitely not working as well as it used to.
Yeah, it is a tricky problem. You want something to
Yes.
stick really well when you want it to, and then to release without too much problems when you don't want it to. So it is a little bit tricky, but blue tack or fun tack from Loctite, which is blue, continues to be a good option. And yeah, at least at Dana's studio, the Faber-Castell Tackett.
Sounds pretty. You said from how many years they've been in business? You said since
61, a good year.
So yeah, long time. That's a long time. They've been making this tack. So they better be the best.
So many ways to tack it.
That's fair.
It's reusable, multi-purpose tack. Got 120 pieces in here, but I mean, you do whatever you want with that.
I mean, if it lasts, like especially if you put it on the end of a handle or something, like
it'll last. Yeah,
it lasts. You're not constantly tacking and untacking. Well, okay, you kind of are, but it's fine. Plastic. Yeah, something that doesn't leave residue would be nice, because like I was really disappointed in this stuff, because I use it to just like I do sub assemblies, right? So I use it to throw on a bunch of different things, and then they're just sitting there, and I can grab them one at a time and stick them on the handle. So yeah, I mean, tack's a good
blue tack. Blue tack will leave residue. You kind of have to use a ball of extra tack to kind of go and pick it up afterwards.
Which is definitely how I usually use the orange tack. So it might be relatively similar to blue tack, because it sometimes leaves stuff. But yeah, a little ball, you can kind of clean that up. But this stuff has been, I can't get it off. I had to paint over it.
Live and learn.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just gonna play with this for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just want to see what
we can move on to the next topic. What have you been up to, Casey? What do you have for the class today?
I feel like I just told you, sort of. No,
You've been repainting goblin feet. Okay,
tack
great.
Thing, yeah. Like you solved my problem. Yeah. Also spoil it. No, I've been working on this Chaos Night more. I actually split up a video, which I haven't done in like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, almost 5 years even. Yeah, I don't like splitting videos up. I didn't split up like the big Stompa projects or anything like that. It kind of is what it is, right? Like whatever happens in the time that I have to make a video, to paint a model, maybe it turns out great, maybe it turns out it's fine. It is what it is. That's how I roll with videos and painting. Because it's life, right? Like you put in however much time you have, and when it's done, it's done. So I didn't want to do that this time, because I've been working on this converted Orc Chaos Knight, and I've been 3D printing, and I've been getting all these parts together, even though I got the stupid MDF parts and those didn't work. Although I found this really good Captain Crunch box.
Did you actually?
I did. And I really want to. It was like it was the October Captain Crunch box, and it just looked great, like perfect.
So you tried to order a Stomp Ahead. You got it. You got an MDF kit, which does technically make a Stomp Ahead,
Oh, it does. Like it
Yeah.
looks cool. And I've been told, in fact, somebody left a comment on the last podcast. Thank you, youtube.com/paintbravely podcast. I think.
Pretty close. I'll get you there.
It's close. I'll get you there. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, saying that the rest of the kit actually looks pretty good, like if you commit to the MDF. So I'm thinking about it, although I really still on that cereal box idea that we talked about last time. I think that's really hilarious, and if let's go down to the local club and play some more Hammer and throw down a cereal box Stompa. Like it sounds perfect. So I don't know. I'm a little torn. Maybe I'll make it a modular kind of thing, like removable like MDF parts to the cereal box.
You can use the MDF parts that you've bought to cut out more pieces of cardboard, and then you can glue just use them as little guides, patterns.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
And then you'll have an extra copy made out of cardboard. You glue that to your Captain Crunch box.
That's actually also not a terrible idea, man.
Yep.
Just copying MDF kits onto cardboard and going for it. I mean, man, that actually really makes you wonder.
You have the mind of an orc. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just thinking, like, what's stopping you from buying an MDF kit and literally just tracing it onto, like, I don't know, foam core? Gluing that together, and you have a full secondary kit of the same.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like an MDF kit would be a very good pattern to rig a jig to start cutting out just a stack of foam core.
Yeah, no, I mean, I need to get me one of those. Yeah,
get you a Proxon. Yeah, get you a Proxon.
That's exactly the Proxon cutter. Exactly what I was gonna say.
Glue your MDF kit, or sorry, should I say tack your MDF kit onto just a stack, like a stack of 20 pieces of foam core.
Yes, and then mass produce.
Prox on your way to just 20 of the worst looking Stompas anyone has ever made.
Exactly, and there's an army. That actually sounds great. Like it sounds really good. I wouldn't mind having a Proxon. The wire cutter, especially that one. That's really cool. Anyways,
well,
yeah.
Next episode's gonna be extra stupid now, isn't it?
Extra stupid.
Be sure to tune in to episode 96 of Paint Bravely the podcast. www.youtube.com/c/.
They changed that. Podcast. It's just at Paint Bravely the podcast.
At now. Paint Bravely the podcast. Tag your friends.
Yeah, pretty sure. I didn't claim a name, so it could be like
I didn't do anything.
Something else.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we're okay. But I mean, did you claim your like at Goobertown Hobbies when that happened? So you have no idea what you technically are currently.
In Goobertown Hobbies, buddy.
Yes, your YouTube channel is, but your actual like URL for YouTube might not be at Goobertown Hobbies. It might be at Goober69 Town Hobbies.
I should have claimed that. Yeah.
Yeah, just do that. Just go. You can chat. I think you change it at least once. No, that happened to a bunch of people where they didn't go and claim it, and then their URL changed, and then they ended up changing their channel name to match. Vogman.
Vogman?
Yeah, he does like 3D printing reviews.
Okay, I now I need to do a public apology to Vogman because I'm sorry I didn't here at 12:30 at night. I'm not remembering you.
I mean,
I'm sorry, Vogman.
I don't think he knows who either of us are. It's not what I mean.
What if Vogman is one of our regular listeners and you just called me out for not knowing who this person is?
Well, then
are they cool? At least cover for him. Yeah, okay. We
like a great dude.
Friend of Casey's a friend of mine. You know what I mean?
There you go. Look, it just means that he'll like me better. That's fine. It doesn't have to be even, okay? Yeah. No, I seriously doubt that he's listening to Paint Bravely the podcast currently. But He does some cool 3D printing reviews, and he changed his channel name because of that thing. So, complete side topic, but just saying you might want to check on that.
So it's not even Vogman anymore. Is that what you're saying?
Actually, yeah, I don't even remember what he is now. I think it's Vog something. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks.
Anyways, airbrushing is really fun. Like, I've been working on this Chaos Knight, and I've been taping off stuff using, the good old Tamiya masking tape, and just doing some fun stripey designs and, checkerboards and all the fun orky things. So that's mostly what I've been working on. I built the whole thing. I got it all constructed in the first video. Like I said, split it in half, moved right into just kind of finishing out the project and painting it up. And of course, a lot of people left a lot of comments on the first video of like, well, now that it's a two-parter, here are some of the things that you should do, that you should be doing to make this better. And like, I feel kind of bad because I feel like I'm going to be letting a lot of people down. But that is the way. So,
well, let's see if you can outperform their expectations.
There you go. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
You're going to do something new and interesting and cool that they didn't even think of. They didn't know they wanted it, but there it is.
Yeah, like a crotch cannon.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's great. You just showed me a couple of pictures, and like, those caution stripes are looking nice. Airbrushing is fun. Airbrushing is fun. Yeah.
No, I was just thinking about that when I was doing the shoulder pads and stuff, and it was like, man, like when I came back to miniature painting, I started I've obviously used paintbrushes, right? That's what I learned with. Had the old Kolinsky Sable Citadel brush from the 90s, which I still have somewhere. Really nice brush.
What color is the handle on that one?
Red.
Okay.
Yeah. Yieldy. But yeah, I started using a brush, and that made sense because that's what we had.
Yep.
Weirdly, right before I stopped doing the hobby, my parents got me an airbrush, like a bottom feeding, from the little jar.
Right.
The siphon fed airbrush.
Sure. Yep.
It was like a single action thing from Harbor Freight.
Yep.
And they thought, okay, well, you could hook this up to a pancake compressor and like, yeah, paint your models with it. Like, but I never had the hose to plug the airbrush in. Obviously the sizes are much different. So it never happened. Never happened. And I quit the hobby for like 20 years. And then I came back and started watching all these videos, and I was like, man, like the airbrush looks pretty nice. And I finally got one, and like completely changed the way that I saw the hobby. Like, it was night and day for me. And so I always try and use my airbrush at every opportunity. And it's just super fun. It's never not fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, of course, Dana Howell and I just did that collaboration of the undershot shading, NAD shading technique,
shading.
as
I saw
they
that
call it.
title. You ruined.
I know.
You just didn't have NAD.
Yeah.
To do it.
But every time I make a YouTube video that involves a lot of airbrush use, I try to make the point that like you don't need an airbrush to do that, and
right.
so
I
made sure
dry brush it.
I made sure at second 45 or so in that video, like I'm like, here I am using a paintbrush to add colored shadows to a model, but an airbrush really is so nice.
It's
like
just so much better.
I show how you can just use a dry brush or, whatever to be like, you can get some of the same effects without buying an airbrush. But an airbrush is one of those things. If you have the extra, realistically $150, if you have a realistic place to use an airbrush near an electrical socket and in a place where children and animals are not going to be breathing the fumes, then that's a pretty good use of money.
Considering how expensive things have gotten just even more recently. These large box sets that were $200 are now $250.
Yeah.
And I bought a few of them this year. We'll say that. So I feel like when I buy things in the hobby, if it's not off of eBay and I'm buying something that's brand new, it's for my actual an off-camera hobby. And I feel like that's more on the realistic side of what people generally buy, maybe 1 or 2 boxes a year. You know what I mean? Not a ton. Okay, but that's still $500 in hobby over a year. So it's I think that even if you took half that budget, say you had $500, take half that budget and go get an airbrush, you'd probably be happier than if you had bought that box.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yep. And I always want to make this hobby accessible to everybody, and no, you don't need an airbrush, but it is very useful. It is very fun. You can experiment with a ton of techniques very quickly and easily. So, I don't know. We don't need to say too much more about it, but airbrushes are sweet. If you've been waffling on this for a little while, do it. Just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
You only live once. Get you an airbrush, fill it up.
Get you an airbrush, yeah.
And then
actually, there's a Harbor Freight set that's $100 that has the compressor and the dual action gravity fed airbrush, and it's better than a Masters. That's something that you go out and buy the crap stuff. So it's out there. There's some decent stuff out there for not a lot of money. Just saying. Now, speaking of dry brushing, because we have to mention that if we're talking about airbrush, and that is the rule if we're on the internet.
Goat hair,
yeah. So the goat hair Artify dry brushes. Now, I bought these a while ago. I mentioned the fact that I did buy these goat hairs. And actually, funny enough, they did email me, and they're like, hey, we really want you to try these fancy pants dry brushes, and I was got that email. I'll do that. But then I also told them maybe I shouldn't have told them that I literally already bought some.
Oh, do you have two? Do you have 2 boxes of goat hairs?
No,
now?
they ghosted me. They just stopped talking to me. They're like, you already bought it. Move on. We got this one. He's a sucker. They're $25 for this very nice set of 5 goat hair dry brushes with the soap for cleaning and the little damp spongy thing in the glass jar. Really nice. But I've been using them a bunch, and they're pretty sweet, especially for the price.
Okay.
I did notice that the goat hairs seem to kind of fall out a little bit. I've had a few stray ones fall out and were on the model that I had to find and get rid of. But I think after the initial shedding, it hasn't been an issue. So, just watch out for those goat hairs. But honestly, I've been super happy with them. They're nicer than any other dry brushes that I've owned. I haven't gotten the really nice ones. But now I really wonder how similar they are. Yeah. It's interesting. I think you could probably do that comparison, but
yeah, I haven't bought those goat hair brushes yet. I did buy the I can't even remember. It's a little over $100, I think. Artisopus, set of dry brushes, yeah. And I've used them a few times, and they seem to work well. And yeah.
I wonder what hairs those are made of.
Yeah, we got some goats in there.
Yeah. Because goat hair is not exactly soft. At least no goat I've ever pet.
Goats are pretty sweet, though, dude.
I like goats. They're great.
Yeah, dude.
They're very entertaining.
Yeah.
But these goat hairs are soft.
Yeah, well, I'm intrigued. Look, the goat hair people, Artify or whatever, also emailed me, and that's a situation where no, if I'm gonna get goat hair brushes, I'll just drop the $25 myself. That's fine. I don't know. I do feel weird about all the the interlocking biases of taking free product. And if it's a printer, yeah, send me the printer. If it's a $30 set of brushes, like, yeah, I can probably flip that myself, like that'll
just so that you have the ultimate final say on everything. And,
so that, like,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so there's not some weird bias or sense of obligation over $30 worth of goat brushes.
Worth of goat hair. Yeah.
I don't need that stressing out my brain too much.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's a good call.
But on the other hand, like, if they're offering, get those goat brushes over here. You know what I mean?
Look, I said send them over, and they just didn't say anything back to me. Okay, I don't know what the problem is. Like, I told them, yeah, I will gladly like send these off to someone else.
They ran you through
these brushes.
Yeah. They ran you through the database, and they're like, this MF already has goat brushes. Like,
if they had looked even closer, they would have seen that, but they didn't. So I feel like it's on them, and they need to send me those brushes.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah. No, I mean, they're good enough. I like, even before talking to them, no, I had them on like my Amazon affiliate, store thing, whatever, like products that I like and use and recommend kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I went that far to put that in. It's not as easy as you would think it would be, but yeah.
Actually, I got one. Speaking of like weird interlocking biases and obligations and whatever, Army Painter announced a new line of paints this week.
They did. Oh, holy crap! Yeah. I totally forgot.
I forgot about it too, but yeah. So I mentioned this because I appeared in a couple of their release videos, so I should probably mention that. But the trip where I did the tour of the paint factory last February. During that trip, they said like, "Hey, we're working on something," and they sat me down and they showed me some paints. And
you're a war paints fanatic.
War paints fanatic. That's out there.
Heck yeah.
And I mean, I don't have too much to say about them. They seemed good. That they were constantly hovering around with like a video camera, and so I'm always wary of those interactions because sometimes it turns into like a weird hostage video of like, what do you think of the paints? Like, they are good.
Haven't had that happen recently at all.
Wait, what?
What? I'm not pointing any fingers. Yeah, no, that we won't talk about it.
Well, we'll talk off camera, but so I try to be mindful in those situations, and like I'm trying the paints out, and they had nowhere near the full like 200 paint range. Like it was a handful of paints that I was testing out, and the handful of paints that I was testing out like were definitely a massive improvement over the current line of Army Painter paints.
I'm definitely super interested to see what the differences are, because I mean, if I know they're talking about like 200 something paint. It's like a full line. Yeah, right? That's going to replace the war paints, or are they keeping the war paints? I would assume they're going to replace them. That's a lot of work. Yeah.
I don't know what the official answer on that is. Like, I think people have asked and they've responded. Maybe so. They have some sort of a phased program. But,
I'm just waiting for the next video to come out. I saw the one where they've announced the paints. They've showed some opacity tests, like painting yellow and orange over black bases that are like really nice looking. So, man, that'll be good. Because that's been a thing that I know we've talked about in the podcast a bunch of times, about how, like, their speed paints, and they did the 2.0, and they had the what else, the airbrush line. Like they're revitalizing all these things, and they're actually really nice. And the fact that like there's this gaping hole in the war paints thing, you know what I mean, and now they're doing that is really cool. So definitely excited about that.
So that's I think that is still months away, but
January?
That they said something about January. I don't know if that's like the first pre-orders for something. Who knows?
They put out a schedule. I don't know where.
Okay.
I saw it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you see them doing advertisements for that and you see my face in there, I did get a chance to sit down for a few hours and test those paints in February of 2023, and at the time I definitely enjoyed what they were showing me. And yeah, when they're pointing the cameras at me, like I was trying to be mindful that like they are going to take a 2-second clip of this and put it in their advertising materials. And so
and they did.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
just
as expected, they did film you.
Yeah,
Why not?
No, of course. And so I always
video?
tried to say things like, it seems that you are on the right track here, like that sort of things.
Yeah. But
yeah, the hostage style videos of always wary of we've seen other companies do that where,
well, let's just call it out, right? It's specifically the GW contrast paint. When they released that and there's a bunch of people in a room, it felt weird. It just felt weird.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a camera in their face and they're like, so what do you think after you've just now used this for the first time?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure it was an awkward situation.
They had a lot of for that contrast paint release. They had a lot of very good professional painters.
Yeah.
Who don't paint with washes, and
no,
and so they're like, I mean, yeah, you know, for what you're doing it for, yeah, seems good.
Yeah.
It's cool to be at Warhammer Worlds,
right? How about that Bugman's? All right.
And I mean, we both think the contrast paint is a good product, sold in a terrible bottle at a very high price, but it is a good product. And you and I are much. Well, I guess some of the professional painters have found like different glaze applications and stuff like that.
Yeah, like airbrushing contrast paints is amazing.
And that's actually a good point too. Is that if you are testing out a paint line, the like 1 hour of supervised testing time, you know, is not enough to test much more than flow and coverage, right?
Yeah,
like
that's
it
went
what you
on
can
the
do.
thing.
Yeah,
it did the job.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
and even then, like they got flown out. Like, yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, you know, I don't want to say too much. I don't think that I know too much that hasn't already been released about this product, but if you catch my face saying something like it seems good, I can tell you that like
that's fair though.
From the couple hours that I had, from the small sample size that I had, yeah, seems good. Mm-hmm. And seems good. You know, where it falls in comparison to all the other paint lines out there, I don't know, but I can tell you it's like 8 notches above Army Painter war paints. Yeah.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah. And
I mean, to be fair, you sitting there going seems good is like that's perfect.
And
it's not too much.
Who knows? Maybe there's a reactivation problem everyone's gonna yell at me about. But just like I tested them out for a little while. Right. Several months ago at the time.
Did you dip them in water and see if the paints came off? Like, no.
Go easy, man. Go easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you how easy they strip off. We'll find out.
Okay. You let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah. First thing you do when you get your hands on it.
Strip it.
So the other thing I wanted to say there is Army Painter is doing something that I haven't seen other companies do before, which is they're sending out a lot of test bottles. Like there are 3 colors of paint. There's a blue, an orange, and a green, I think. That are in like a little sample box.
Right. Yeah, I've been seeing those.
And they've been sending them to just customers, like not people who necessarily have Instagram or YouTube or Twitch or anything. They've just been sending this little 3-pack of colors out to customers. And I think it's either like people who they have their address because they're customers, or people who've like checked a box that said like okay to send promotional materials or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's got to be something like that.
I can't remember exactly how they did their selection, but I think they've sent out like a couple hundred samples to just customers. And so a lot of the initial reactions for that line of paint are going to be from just regular people. It's like, it is completely fair to have concerns about the biases that are in my mind, the conflicts of interest that are in my mind. And for any, content creator, that is perfectly reasonable to be at least conscious that they probably have some sort of bias, which they are either I don't know, have I not corrected for my bias? Am I overcorrecting for my bias?
Right.
Who knows? But like, I think it's awesome that there are just hundreds of regular people out there who have, 3 is a tiny sample size in terms of colors for the line, but there's an orange in there, and if the orange is working for, just regular customers, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be interesting to see how many people who get those packages too just pick up their phone and shoot a quick video to show it, because I'm sure I know there's not a ton of content about it out right now.
There have been a couple of YouTube videos. And actually one of the videos went out like before the announcement from Ari Painter. It was out like a week before the announcement from Ari Painter, and I just found it randomly on YouTube, and I knew exactly what it was. I'm just like, nope, not gonna touch it, not gonna tell anybody about this.
Yeah, don't go anywhere near about that. It had 10 views. You're just like, I'm not gonna.
I'm sorry. I'm forgetting the name of the content creator. The last time I saw it had like 6,000 views, but it had.
It was an act. Okay, I thought it was just like a random person.
Well, I think
put something up.
I think it got sent out in the same pile of like the kind of random customers.
Sure.
And this person just happened to have a small, moderate-sized YouTube channle, and so they weren't under any NDA constraints or whatever, and so there was a. Actually, it seemed like a pretty thorough review of those 3 colors of paint, like a week before Army Painter announced them, and good on you. Like,
heck yeah.
We spoiled the Duncan Rhodes paint 6 months early, so it happens.
Dude,
like
that was more than 6 months. Speaking of which, I just got the new set in the mail. Of the Duncan Rhodes paints. I haven't opened them. I haven't tried them yet. I assume they're as good as the first ones were, which were good paints.
Yep.
But the new colors are brighter, right? They've got a more variety in skin tones, kind of the stuff that we actually talked about quite a bit.
Yes.
Has been looked at. And that wasn't just from us. That was from a lot of people saying that stuff. Especially the variety in brightness and color. So happy to see that, and definitely looking forward to trying those out. But I haven't yet. Haven't had time. So yeah.
Couldn't get any of those sweet colors on your big orc night, huh?
No, although I think there is a bright green in there. That's probably.
There were a couple. So I got that same package also. All us content creators getting that free Duncan Rhodes paint. Yeah. But so I definitely have a system now where the left-hand side of my painting table has a rack that is mostly Monument Hobbies. The right-hand side is mostly Duncan Rhodes at this point. It's a little bit of Reaper up above my Monument Hobbies, a little bit of Vallejo up above my Duncan Rhodes.
Okay.
But I should eventually test them, but I did take all of the new Duncan Road washes, put them in a baggie at the back of my drawer, all the new Duncan Rhodes metallics, little baggie at the back of my drawer, but a lot of the new colors, like I've already used some of them. I like them.
Okay.
The problem with the first 60 Duncan Rhodes paints is that there weren't a lot of colors, a lot of grays, a lot of browns, which are all useful things to have. But there were like 3 greens, no teals.
Yeah. It was like there were useful colors, but not enough of them. Yeah. Like the ranges needed to be extended. So, and they filled a good amount of that stuff in.
Yep.
I still don't have them like on hand readily available. They are nearby, and I'm actually getting more of my hobby space worked out. Like in the YouTube video camera, if you're watching it, I think you can see one of the Home Depot display cabinets behind me, but I don't think Brent can see it out of my webcam.
I look forward to the day. Yeah,
yeah, it'll be in the next video for sure. But yeah, actually, I did build 2 of them, and it took me for way too long because it's basically IKEA from Home Depot. So it is what it is. But super sturdy, very easy to assemble. After I did the first one, the second one took a quarter of the time, of course. But the shelves are like nicely spaced. I can fit 3 Stampas side by side if I wanted to, and they're taller than that too. So it would be very close. Like even like a Warlord Titan, they're tall. But there's a bunch of 4 actual shelves. So like I painted 3,500 points of Necron like a couple months ago.
Yes, you did.
All of them fit on one shelf.
Ooh.
And they look so good. Yeah.
I'm jealous. Yeah.
It's good there. So I got 3 of them. I got 3 of the cabinets. I have to put one more together. But like, I have way more stuff than I realized that's actually painted.
You do,
I filled 2 entire cabinets. Like, there is no space in these cabinets. They're completely filled with models that are painted.
Build that third cabinet.
There's one model that's not painted over here in the corner just because I didn't want to get dust on it. Yeah, I need to do the third cabinet and then just fill it with like the unpainted stuff, which there's a good amount of that too. I also got 2 black metal storage cabinets, kind of like you see in most office buildings, and I filled both of those completely with mini boxes and models that aren't built. And then I put a piece of plywood over the top of both of them, spread them out so that it's about 8 feet for a piece of plywood that's been cut. And that's completely filled with boxes of models too. So I'm figuring it out.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that I can put up more like paint storage on the walls and have like all the Duncan paints out and all the other. It's like my Citadel paints have been put away for 3 years.
Yep.
2 years. Yeah. It's been a long time. Like at this point, my go-tos are like a handful of Scale 75 colors, a handful of Vallejo, mostly Monument, like because I got all the Monument stuff. I went and bought all of them so I could just get them, and then I have all of them out, and then all of the Army Painter air paints, because like
that's a good choice.
90% of my like go-to is use the air paints for base coating, do this other stuff, then fill in with normal paints to highlight with, and then come back and do special effects with the airbrush or extra stuff or whatever. So it works for me, but I do need like especially a few different colors that would be nice to have like another step in it, like either brighter or darker than like where Monument is or something. I just got to fill it in. But yeah, more paints. I need more stuff.
Such a stupid first world problem. Like we must sound insane to some of you people. Like, I got this range of paints and this range of paints, and like,
yeah,
I think, you know what? I think on our ranking of paint room setups, I think having a lot of bottles from 2 different paint ranges, that gets you a full score, whatever that full score is on having paints available to you. I would
argue that, even just having every paint from a single paint range,
that's amazing,
is enough for you to just be like, okay.
And then a couple of filler ins from another paint
like
range.
Some cool colors that you've seen and heard about and whatever.
Yeah.
Like my Scale 75 colors, I maybe use like 3 or 4 that I just like. Like I like for certain things, right? I use Arbuckle's Brown to base coat literally leather it on anything because it just works for me. That's what I do. Yeah. So yeah.
No, I got you.
But our hobby score system, which we haven't actually revamped in a minute. I don't know if it's been a year. We did it a year after the first year. We got to do it around to it. need a rubric. We definitely
maybe
need
we'll
that to
wait
be like
a couple of
fillable
Kobold
PDF.
talks before we get back to our hobby score ranking.
That's fair. Yeah.
But
Kobold Talks. We're 6 months away. Just saying, from Kobold Talk 3. So excited.
Oh no. No. Yeah. But look, I'll tell you, when I first got back into this hobby, I bought the full, not the mega set. I bought like the complete set of Army Painter war paints,
like the 400 paint set.
I think it was 120 paints, but yes, it was a big old box of Army Painter war paints.
Yeah.
And I tell you, those are in a plastic bag in a box in my basement right now. And I got my
getting separated and frozen and oh man, seen better days.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they're pretty similar to what's currently available in a store from the Army Painter war paint, but there are better things on the market, and I am glad that, perhaps a year from now, that you go into the GameStop and next to their 3 walls of Funko Pops where they have like one, like they got a couple of plushies and then maybe a start painting set. And
that would be interesting, actually.
No, like there's at least one store in my local mall that is a comic book store. It's Newberry Comics if you're in the Northeast, but it's supposedly a comic book store. They sell some, CCG packs. They mostly sell Funko Pops at this point.
Yeah.
But there are, a couple of D&D books, and then there are a couple of start painting kits, and I can't remember if they're specifically labeled as Army Painter, but like from the bottles you can tell that they're an Army Painter start kit.
Okay,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
They do a lot of those like crossover deals where
sure
I don't think they don't have the D&D license or crossover right now, but like there was a period where there were the D&D start painting set, and there were little bottles of paint that had like the hexagon labels on them, and like, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah. Right.
But my point is that Army Painter is everywhere in the United States, including in a lot of stores that don't sell anything else related to the mini painting hobby. And it's kind of like the basement level of paints. And I'm excited for that bar of like the worst quality, readily available paints out there to just
become good.
Yes. And that's exciting.
Still readily available. It's such a huge change, right? Because as much as like I do like, well, I suppose actually now that I think about it, like I like the newer products that Army Painter has. Mm-hmm. The newer paints that they put out. Their air paints and their speed paints work incredibly well. Like I pretty much only use their air paints at this point anything that has to do with air.
Yes,
it just works. So,
yep.
Yeah, like if they can even reach that level of like, this is what we say it's going to do, and this is what it does, and now it's everywhere. I can only imagine how that's going to change the landscape for most miniature painting. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're right. Like if Army Painter is in a store that's not normally a hobby shop, quote unquote, right? Then people are going to be like, oh yeah, there's, WizKids models or whatever is going on. Yeah. I want to buy that, and there's these paints and they're reasonably priced, I'm going to pick this up, and they work how they're supposed to.
Yeah,
like,
and their first painting experience is good. Yeah.
All these things that they're going to end up learning, they can learn easier. They don't have to fight with the product. That's going to, I can't even imagine. Like you see kids painting with, their parents have paints that they've invested in, and they're starting to paint, and they're like years beyond most people, and they're like young. The Golden Demon entries for under 15, right? They're insane. So imagine if those kids start off even sooner.
Agreed.
It's good all around.
Yeah.
And then having an easy to get supply of paint when you run out of something. Yeah, that's pretty great. Because I went to a hobby shop the other day, and I was looking for models and paints and stuff, see what was going on, and like they didn't have a lot. They definitely had the Funko Pop.
Yeah, gotta have those Funko Pops. Look,
Yeah,
there's gonna be
some stores are not doing so hot these days.
yeah. Well, if you gotta have Funko Pops to stay afloat, that's fine. But one day those Funko Pops are gonna Beanie Baby, and then you gotta have a.
Oh man.
Then you gotta start stocking War Paints Fanatic. I don't know. You gotta have a backup plan.
You gotta have a backup plan.
Yeah.
You might as well start now with that.
Yeah. Look, there's gonna be one more Christmas when kids get Army Painter War Paints under their tree, and to those kids out there, you can have a good time with those paints. Paint your first minis, have fun with it, and we'll get you some better paints later, buddy. Like, well, yeah, you can still paint your first orc with those war paints.
I mean,
yeah,
it's not like those paints don't work, but
depends on the color.
It just okay. Yeah.
No, I try to always be encouraging to people, and there are people out there who legitimately like that line of paints, and there are a lot of people who are starting the hobby with that line of paints, and I try not to just be like, oh, it's the worst line of paint out there. I mean, it is. I mean, it's
still airbrushes. Like, it still mixes down into airbrush paints.
Sure.
Like, I used to buy it for that.
Yeah.
The spray primers too. Like,
but anyway, when there is the full release of Warpaint Fanatic, if I end up making a video related to that, I have an old video, the time when we did the deodorant orc land speeder things.
Oh yeah.
In that video from 3 or 4 years ago or whatever, I was trying to paint like a box on my orc land speeder green, and I was trying to do it with Army Painter paints, and it was just like, I'd put a glob of green paint on there, and my brush would act like a snow plow. It would move the paint to either side of the brush, as and I got a good recording of me just being like, "What is this? I don't like this. I'm never using this again. This is not good."
Yeah.
So
it's like I can see it. I remember when this happened. Yeah. We talked about this back then, and it's weird, man. That was so long ago.
Time flies, man. It's almost time for another Kobold talk. Almost time to revamp your hobby workstation. I mean, you've been revamping your hobby workstation. You definitely out of 10 these days, my man.
Well,
maybe we gotta raise that ceiling on what's possible for the hobby workstation.
We might, but remember, I lost running water in a bathroom, so yeah.
And then we'll have to crunch those numbers again, won't we?
Right. We're there eventually. We talked about this. We've talked about it in Discord channels with people, and had people weigh in. Like, we need a rubric, need a PDF that we can distribute, and something else. I forget what the rest of them. There's a lot of things. This is all the fingers.
An army list builder, an interactive web-based list builder.
We need somebody who knows how to do apps, and we need a lot of things.
Just somebody to draw some more kobolds for us.
Yeah, realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's really what we want. But oh man, yeah. So that'll be good.
That's good. All right, I got a quick one here. Okay. Like, I really do spend almost every waking hour working on hobby stuff and like, trying to occasionally publish a YouTube video, and I don't know where the time goes, but I'm going to tell you right now where some of the time has gone. Okay. And this is another seed that I want to plant because it probably will be funny later. But
we've had a few payoffs, so I mean,
I figured out where that smelly box was getting the smell from. It was aquarium rocks was the answer.
Disgusting.
But you got to plant those seeds so that you can harvest that humor crop later on.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I've been spending a little bit of time. I subscribe to World of Warcraft Hardcore now that they have hardcore servers for classic World of Warcraft, and so I've got a level 12 warrior and a level 13 paladin.
Yeah, right.
And Yeah, look, I'm still trying to, work on this whole YouTube channel, but I figure it's okay to play a little bit of World of Warcraft because there's a hard stop on a hardcore character progression, and there's just a hard cutoff, and we don't all know exactly where it is. But
are you on like a PvP server too? You're really getting in there?
I think there's just a couple of hardcore servers. Like I'm on one of the 2 US hardcore WoW Classic servers.
Good kitty.
So I just wanted to plant that seed. Like, if I don't put out a YouTube video for 3-4 months, things are going well.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No. No. That means I'm tanking Naxxramas. Like that means things are going well.
Things are going well. So you're just not around. I would think 100% you'd max out and then die, and then you'd just be like, I am not gonna talk to anybody for a few months. I mean, that's really the issue with the hardcore there.
That's the perfect end. That's I've accomplished what I'm going to accomplish, and now I rage quit and delete this from my computer and press whatever buttons are required to permanently delete the account, and
permanently delete the account.
Get back to painting goblins and kobolds.
That's fair, man. Yeah, I mean, I've done some like just for fun hardcore stuff, just because I mean it does obviously change the way that you approach things, the way that you play the game. You're obviously a lot more cautious.
I should say hardcore in this video game means if you die,
permadeath, right?
It's permadeath, and you die a lot in that game actually, or normally I think normally you die once or twice a play session. I think that's pretty common. It depends. It depends
you wander
how you
into
play,
an area and you pull some aggro, and something comes after you weren't necessarily expecting, and those things don't just stop chasing you.
Yeah, but this is a game where you put days, like probably a couple of weeks of play time into like a max level character, and one of those days you're gonna walk into the wrong pack of gnolls, and then that's all gonna be over, and then I don't know. So I played classic World of Warcraft freshman year of college when it came out. Like I remember 2004 November.
Heck yeah, man.
I think I didn't really get into it till December of 2004, but like
sure.
I was there.
Yeah, no, I was right there with you for sure. And not literally. I didn't.
No, we met years later, my friend. Yeah.
But I was there on some server somewhere.
Yep.
Yes.
So this is getting a little bit of that feeling back, a little bit of that nostalgia, but now I have the discipline of a man. Yeah. The knowledge, the discipline, and the internet connection of a true warrior. Yeah.
Oh man, that's.
So I just wanted to let you know. I wanted to let you all know that I have begun to dabble with hardcore World of Warcraft.
I think you should definitely keep us informed of your progress, and because I want to know when you die.
Exactly. That is why I'm mentioning it. Yeah.
And how? Yeah. I want details. It's like, how bad was it?
Yeah. When I show up really angry, like when I am super upset during Kobold Talk episode 3, like you'll know why. Yeah. Somebody took my candle. Yeah.
Yeah. You were down in the mines, and thinking you could solo that first dungeon, and it just didn't go well.
Yeah. It is fun though. It makes everything so much. You feel more alive. When you're fighting, Hogger, when you're looking for a group to fight Hogger, so much more alive. Yeah,
for sure.
When you're fighting Goldtooth in Fanga Deep Mine, so much more alive. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man.
All right, that's all I have to say about hardcore World of Warcraft. It's going on. I'll let you know when it comes to a screeching, miserable, infuriating end. Yeah.
I think the closest I ever did was, like, I did a PvP server with a bunch of people at one point. And I kept track of names for a while.
To
try and hunt people. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that was about as deep as I got.
Well, I did a little bit
Warcraft.
of like never group with this hunter again. They're gonna roll need on the loot drops, but
Oh yeah, I roll need every time. Don't even start.
no, I had a list of people like so I was more into PvE, player versus environment, you know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Cooperative play, but I definitely had a list of like do not cooperate with these people.
There are 10,000 people in this server, and I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. And these 7 have made my list. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, I had like a running journal list of like people that I encountered that either I needed to find and hunt down, or that I bested in like 1v1 PvP combat. That was like fresh when like the Horde had paladins with the stupid blood elves or whatever. I can't remember, man. It's been so long.
You got it.
Did I? Oh, there you go.
You did.
Got it. Yeah. But yeah, did PvP, and that made you feel a little bit alive, like walking around and being like, I just get destroyed at any minute. You know, and that sucks. It's not a great feeling till you find somebody else that you do that to, and it's great. But hardcore, man, I don't know. Like, I don't even like doing hardcore in like Diablo.
Well, it's gonna be interesting. I'll tell you what. We'll keep you updated. All right, what else we got here?
No, we have a note about some 3D printing stuff, and I think that was it.
Okay. What do you want to say about 3D printing?
I don't know. It's your note.
My
note was airbrushing is fun. We talked about that for like half an hour. Come on.
All right, I just wanted to share an email I got from a 3D printing company. That's all. That's
all.
Okay, so how to put this? These companies, a lot of them are based out of China, I think.
I think, yeah.
And so,
pretty sure.
And normally for the company reps who reach out to us influencers, quotation marks, to get their product out there so that people learn about what's hot in the new 4K, 8K, 12K, 3D printing, self-leveling bed environment. When they're trying to get the word out there through us big time influencers, they get their company reps to just spam our email folders.
Pretty much.
And it definitely goes through cycles of like, I'll go months without hearing from any 3D printer companies, and then it's like, oh, there's a new generation out because I just got 3 emails from Anycubic, Elegoo, and Uniform. And so my response at this point is like, look, if you want to send me a printer, I'll probably print something with it eventually, and it'll probably like end up in a video at some point, but no guarantees. I'm not giving you an ad read or whatever, but if you want me to know what your printer's about, like, sure, I could give you my address, like, absolutely. And so this is a very common conversation that I have. It's just like, yep, here's my address, no guarantees, but if you want me to have sample, send it here. And this is the first time that I've ever had one of these English as a second language conversations where the person says, if you do not do a 60-second ad read, I will lose my job. And
oh man,
I don't know why, but
look
like
what you're doing.
But like the super broken English on it, like made it funnier, and like it was like, because it was, if you do not do ad read, like they contacted me, like I didn't email them, like they emailed me, and I was just like, I mean, yeah, send it if you want, but no guarantees. And they get back like, please do 45 to 60-second ad read for Black Friday sale, or else I lose my job. Just
like, oh no, what's happening over there?
Like, dude, I mean, Sounds like you might need to form a union or something. I don't know. Like you.
I mean, like
I don't know what to tell you, buddy. I already have a 3D printer. I don't. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, in the like.
Good luck with your Black Friday sale. I don't know.
Oh, poor guy. He's gonna lose his job. Oh no. I've gone through a lot of people.
Yeah.
The people that work at the like different companies seem to just change out constantly.
Yeah.
There were a few in the beginning, especially where like we had the same couple of people, and that was pretty good. Like I worked with the same like one person at Anycubic for 3 years, something like that.
Yeah, Kathy.
Yeah.
Nah, Kathy was before whoever you had.
That's fair. Okay,
It doesn't matter. This is not important.
It's not really, but
And that was not their real name. Yeah.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
That's fine. But yeah, like in the last like year or so, I've kind of like been talking to a lot of different new people. So I don't know what's going on.
Grace.
Yeah, Grace was there, and she was the one that I was talking to, like for years, right? But then when Grace got replaced,
Yep.
or something, the guy that I was talking to was like, "Oh yeah, Grace was great, and she got a better job somewhere else," is what he told me. Like almost verbatim, he just straight up told me. So.
Somewhere beyond the reach of Black Friday sales for
she lost her job and he didn't want to say. I don't know. But it definitely seems like a new generation of people, and they're trying to like get it going harder and with more. And I don't know what the changes are, but man, I hope he doesn't lose his job now that you're not doing an ad read.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel bad. Like, what? Let me know in the comments. Should I help? Should I help this guy out?
Do yourself a favor. Yeah, just.
Boy, I'm starting to feel bad. Yeah,
it's 45 seconds, Brent. You just have to say this is the Uniformation GK2. It has a heater in the vat. It's got a self-leveling vat. It's got a cool door.
I didn't tell you which printer it was about. I mean, I did tell you, but not on not on the podcasting.
This is the Anycubic M.
No, yeah.
This is the Frozen 8K Ultra.
You had the full ad read going for one company, and now you're stammering, trying to make it up for another company. Yeah,
that's true. Well, that's because I have the Uniformation GK2 behind me, and I am doing an ad read. And
you want to get those 45 seconds out of the way right now, buddy?
60 seconds.
Look.
And it was the same guy.
If there's an ad read on a podcast that I'm on, maybe we can get this guy to keep his job. Do it, Casey.
I mean, I just didn't I? Did it?
Yeah,
like, okay,
you did it in like 10 seconds, though.
It's an
yeah.
8K. Okay, I'll slow it down. That's usually what I do. Like, if I gotta fill that time, it's like this printer
right here
is. Yeah. It's a good one. It's green.
Mm-hmm.
Like the G and GK green, that's the box color. It's an 8K printer, so some amount of micron something with rectangular, squarish pixels and decently sized. I think it's like a 14-inch screen or something. It's actually huge. It's got a filter built in, and it's got like a carbon block that snaps in the back where the airflow comes in and actually goes out of. So it's replaceable. The vat doesn't screw in. It snaps in, just slides in and out the front. And the door, have I hit it? I swear that's like a minute. The door flips up and down. You know, it's just like
I think we just saved his job, buddy. I think we did it. We did it.
We're gonna have to forward him this podcast and just make sure.
Yeah. Look, I just hope he has a job at Thanksgiving. You know, I hope he's not worried about losing his job the day after Thanksgiving because his Black Friday sale didn't do very well.
That's funny. I don't know anything about a Black Friday sale. He didn't tell me he was going to lose his job, so.
Well, you went right into like money negotiations, didn't you? Yeah,
immediately, as you do. Like, I don't work for free.
Yeah.
No, actually, the sad thing is I was supposed to do an ad read for Uniformation last week, but they haven't sent me all the stuff. And he's like, hey, we're going to have to push this because, yeah, you're not going to have enough time. I'm like, well, let me be the judge of that. I'm pretty sure I could bust 60 seconds out.
Man, if he's not, sending you your stuff, like,
Yeah,
maybe that's why he's going to lose his job, you know?
that is possible, but I don't know. I don't know. But if anybody has a good contact at AnyCubic, they owe me money, and they won't talk to me. And on that note, thank you again for joining us in another episode of Paint Bravely. If you enjoyed this podcast, please help us out by leaving us a review on iTunes, subscribing to the YouTube channel, and sharing this message with your hobby friends. And as always, we appreciate each and every one of you for listening, and we will talk to you next time.
We appreciate the heck out of you. We'll talk to you next time.